We have all been sold a massive, comforting lie by our parents, our grandparents, and the traditional banking system. The lie goes like this: the stock market is a dangerous casino, investing is risky, and the only truly responsible thing to do with your hard earned money is to put it in a traditional savings account and keep it completely safe. Here is the brutal mathematical reality that the financial industry doesn't want you to realize. Playing it safe is actually the most dangerous financial decision you can make. If you're leaving all of your money sitting in a standard bank account, you are mathematically guaranteed to get poorer every single year. I talk about the psychology of money and how to actually build wealth instead of blindly following outdated advice. Today, we are tearing down the safe money trap, exposing the invisible thief that is actively draining your bank account, and explaining exactly why the banking system wants you to be terrified of investing. Let's start with the invisible thief. It is called inflation, and it is the absolute destroyer of the middle class. When you leave your money in a traditional checking or savings account, your brain plays a psychological trick on you. You look at your banking app, you see $50,000 sitting there, and you feel incredibly secure. You check it a year later, and the screen still says $50,000. You think you haven't lost a single penny, but you aren't looking at the real math. You are only looking at the digits. Wealth isn't measured by the number on a screen. Wealth is measured by purchasing power, what that money can actually buy in the real world. Historically, inflation runs at an average of 3% a year, and recently it has been significantly higher. That means every single year, the cost of groceries, housing, cars, and healthcare goes up. If your money is sitting in a brick and mortar bank paying you 0.01% interest, it is not growing, it is dying. Imagine you have a perfectly secure, indestructible steel vault. You lock $100,000 of cash inside of it. It is perfectly safe from robbers, fire, and stock market crashes. But there is a microscopic hole in the floor of the vault, and every year, 3% of your purchasing power evaporates into thin air. 10 years ago, $100,000 could buy you a starter home in many parts of the country. Today, it barely buys you a well-equipped pickup truck. In another 10 years, it might only buy you a Honda Civic. Your money is physically there, but its power is completely vanishing. This is the safe money trap. You are accepting a 100% guaranteed mathematical loss just to avoid the emotional discomfort of market volatility. And while your money is rotting away, do you know what the bank is doing with it? They're certainly not keeping it in a vault. When you deposit your saved $50,000, the bank turns right around and lends your money out to someone else for a mortgage at 7%, or to a business at 10%, or they issue a credit card at 24%. The bank is taking your money, investing it into the economy, and keeping all the massive profits for themselves, while handing you a fraction of a penny in interest. They are using your fear of risk to make themselves incredibly rich. So why do we fall for this? It comes down to a psychological flaw called loss aversion. Human beings are wired to feel the pain of losing money twice as deeply as the pleasure of gaining it. The idea of putting money into an S&P 500 index fund, logging in on a Tuesday and seeing that the balance dropped by $2,000 absolutely terrifies normal people. They hate volatility, so they run to the false safety of cash. But you have to completely rewire how you view risk. Volatility is not risk. Volatility is simply the price of admission you pay to grow your wealth over the long term. The stock market will go up and down day to day, but over any 20-year period in modern history, it has always gone up and crushed inflation. Actual risk is waking up at 65 years old, looking at your safe savings account and realizing your money doesn't buy enough food or healthcare to keep you alive because the cost of living left you behind decades ago. So what is the actual solution? First, you stop treating brick and mortar banks with blind loyalty. You only need a traditional checking account to pay your monthly bills. Every single dollar of your emergency fund needs to be immediately moved into a high-yield savings account online. These accounts actually pay you 4 or 5% interest just for parking your cash there, which acts as a shield against inflation. You force the banks to compete for your deposits. Second, once your emergency fund is built, every extra dollar needs to be deployed into the market. You buy broad market index funds and you leave them alone. You stop viewing cash as an investment and you start viewing cash as a melting block of ice. The longer you hold on to it, the more of it disappears. If you want to stop letting the financial system quietly drain your wealth and learn the real mechanics of keeping your money, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Thanks for watching.